What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Magical Bro Transformation Fuckcast, episode 13. This will be an in-between episode while we're watching Death Note. Joining me today are too many people, including Mondo, too many cooks, including Mondo, Juan, Mark, Danny, and Mike. Say hi, everybody.
Hello. What's up?
Hey. So, if you're new to this anime-related podcast, we just basically watch a show, discuss the show, and rate the show. Pretty basic, straight to the point. And we'll just mess around in between if need be. And this week's anime is Detroit Metal City.
Ooh. Go to DMC.
DMC.
Anyway, before we get into that, how have you guys been? I know it's been a while since I've had some of you on the podcast. How has your life been derailed since the last time that you've been on?
Well, I do need something in between watching Fuka and Matsume-kun's Revenge.
Fucka.
But Fuka is over, Mark.
I haven't picked up Matsume-kun's Revenge, but I hear
I haven't seen the
good
last
things about
episode.
it.
Okay. I won't.
It's pretty cool.
Sorry, I hear it's pretty good.
I think I liked it better than
Character
Fuka.
designs are great.
Mondo, have you finished Scum's Wish, and is that worth watching?
I haven't finished it, but I've kept up with it mostly, except for like the last couple of episodes. And I mean, I like the show so far.
Like,
Let's watch it, Nudie.
All right.
It's got all the drama you need.
All the drama I
So
need,
much
so not all the
drama.
drama I want.
It's got more than what you want.
Oh shit, that's exactly what I need.
I can't watch that show. Like I just can't watch it.
But we watched it in a room full of guys together, Mike.
Yeah, but we were
Regardless,
drunk.
Even alone, I
No,
wouldn't
we
watch
weren't.
that show. Like
We weren't
wasn't-
anywhere near drunk.
Nah, I wasn't drunk at that point.
If we were drunk, we would have enjoyed it more.
I would have gone through that just fine if I was drunk, but I was sober and I was like, I don't like this.
You see, Mike
I guess-
Mike had this awkward boner when we were watching it, and we were all
It
just
wasn't
staring
even
at it.
that. It wasn't. I couldn't even get aroused by the
So which one
on-screen
of you is
shit that
gonna
was
jack
going
me
on.
off?
It was
I
more
guess you're
like,
right. It was pretty
was-
awkward.
Yeah, it's like
the
whenever you
scenes-
want to. It's like whenever you watch a decent porn together. Like you're like, man, this is
I
pretty.
think
okay.
I could have sat through that better than the thing. Like it wasn't just the fact that like they were like feeling each other up in that scene that made it awkward. It was just like everything surrounding the circumstances that brought them there. That really, I was just like, I can't be doing this.
I want to watch this.
We'll watch it later, Danny.
I was just like, I can't do this.
I've watched the
This
first
is
episode like 4 times with three different groups of people.
just showing other people.
And no, I've just
One of
all
those
I,
kind of animes.
all
huh?
I've wanted to do is just watch it with Mark, but nobody lets me watch it with Mark. And whenever I get on TeamSpeak, Mark's never there, so we can watch it together. So I'm like,
And
let me
then
try
when
this
I
with
am-
somebody else.
And then when I am, we just start playing Overwatch.
Yeah, it's not by choice; it's by force.
Hey, Nuna, you guys want to play Overwatch?
I'm down.
Wait, we're in the middle of a podcast.
Shut up, Danny. You're only saying that because you don't have Overwatch.
Yeah, breaks exist for a reason. We can just play
Maybe
one
I
game
don't.
and get back on track.
Exactly.
And
God
It's
damn it.
clear,
The
yeah.
amount of edits that I'm gonna do to like this Fuka conversation, I'm gonna move it towards the front after I ask you guys, what are you guys doing? That's the type of editing that I'm gonna be doing tonight.
Oh,
You're gonna
God.
edit it just like Mark's performance.
Just like
Oh,
oh god.
Oh my god.
What is this about?
It's about when you went to Mondo's to record the guitars and just copied and pasted your way through like 8 songs.
You son of a bitch.
And you could have just done it to one, but you did so many. And we-
I'm a
Got my hopes up and everything.
I mean, we understood why because we just want to finish it and get it over with, but get mad.
Where was the passion?
I'm efficient.
Mark is efficient
efficiency over
I
quality.
got
over
time.
quality.
I ain't got
It's like
time.
you're a
didn't have
robot.
time.
You're not even human anymore.
He had to go to Mondo's during the week, record it all within like 8 hours or less.
Yeah.
While Juan and
Yeah,
Mondo
so
were at
Juan
work.
was-
Yeah, you both were at
Mondo.
work.
Yeah. Yeah. And he didn't invite me to hang out either.
Why would he? He was busy being.
I was at work.
Watch him.
so you could just watch him and be like, Mark, that didn't
Yeah.
sound too good. You might want to
Danny,
record
we
it
ate.
again.
Danny, you bought me a steak.
I did.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't even appreciate it.
So you're just lying.
Come to
Alright.
Austin so I could buy you one.
Mike and I went to go see the new Power Rangers movie.
That was interesting.
It was interesting. It was a lot better than we expected it to be. I'll say that.
It was a fuck of a lot better than I expected that thing to be.
Considering I had never seen the short that it was based off of, I thought it was just gonna be like your try hard gritty reboot, and it was, but it was a spoof.
But they did it
on
right.
It did it so
They
perfect.
did it right.
For the most part, it did it pretty
Yeah.
good.
Aside from a few problems.
Yeah,
I want to hear those problems.
I guess this will be a Power Ranger spoiler cast. I'll put a warning in there eventually. And I've been working on some songs. I'm gonna finish up that one that you and I are collaborating on, and probably gonna end up putting it for the intro for the next filler, which is gonna be a compare and contrast between the live action Ghost in the Shell movie and the 2 Ghost in the Shell animated feature films. Yeah. We'll see
Nice.
if I finish editing that for the intro.
It's gonna be a doozy.
Yeah, as we've already talked about how much Mike and Juan love Scarlett Johansson, and they can't wait for the film to, exceed their expectations. There's
I
no
don't
way this
know.
could possibly go wrong.
I mean, it looks
Mm.
aesthetically pleasing.
It's aesthetically pleasing. From the 5-minute teaser thing, it doesn't seem story wise pleasing.
No.
No,
I love Toast on the Bell.
it is a pretty good taste, yes. So, the anime that we're going to talk about, as I mentioned before, is Detroit Metal City. And
Yay.
it's not something that we can really talk about for a long time, but it is something that I decided to choose because it was short, and it could be, just essentially a filler within the actual mainline podcast that'll take up the time between our Death Note review and whatnot, since that'll be out in about 2 weeks. It'll be the next episode that's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The show was very short.
It was very short. It was a little bit shorter than I
It's an
expected.
OVA
it to.
series.
Yeah.
So 12 episodes, and how long were each episode? Like
Each episode was
13
about 13
minutes.
minutes each.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
if you
like
count
12,
the intro.
13
If you
minutes.
count the intro and the outro.
Which was
they're
a
13
minute and a
minutes.
half.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
Damn.
roughly about like 10 minutes of showtime, I guess.
Yeah. And it was produced by Studio 4C, which came up in the trivia that Mike and I were a part of that we forgot. And I decided to actually look up what they actually made that I could remember. And it's not much. They made the Animatrix, they made the Linkin Park music video Breaking the Habit, and they made 2 Berserk movies. That's
But isn't that all you really need?
Yeah. You said Animatrix. I'm like, that's all they need.
is it though?
Mm,
I mean, the Linkin Park music video, I can give them some props for, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And they also made some other stuff. They made Batman Gotham Knight, which is
I
an
remember
OVA that
that.
I gave you
Yeah.
an option to watch also. And
Yes.
a thing called Amazing Nuts that I want to do something with later.
Wait, what's it called?
Amazing Nuts. It's
Amazing Nuts.
yeah. Exclamation point. It's in a similar vein as Interstellar 555.
Ah,
Oh.
Yeah. Where it's just a story told with
5555.
music videos. Yeah, 5555.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. I would. What kind of music is it?
I've only seen the first episode, and I can't tell you because I don't remember.
I see.
Yeah. Well, we'll see whenever that comes up. And other than that, this anime is called Detroit Metal City, which is
Yes.
pretty funny because the music in here is not metal, and it has like it has influences of metal. It's
But
a-
no need, they have guitars.
They do have heavy guitars, and they do palm mute that, and they do the dun dun.
it's what someone who kind of doesn't listen to a lot of metal would be like, hey, this is metal, right?
It's
Yeah.
They just
it's
start like,
basically the stereotype of what metal is.
yeah.
But I mean, when you listen to like Japanese music and you look into, I believe the genre is called visual K. It's where it's like really showy, but then like the band members, they wear like makeup and they wear like really showy shit.
Yeah.
And they do what people over there and some, I guess like I don't want to say commoners, but like mainstream people, there you go, would like view it as metal. And like
Normies.
that's what they do.
And
Like
it's
that's
in
what
the-
most visual K is just like.
It's in a similar vein as glam metal is, except
yeah,
it's
exactly.
heavier.
That's what visual K is.
Except it's not, and pertaining particularly to this music style, it's not as like poppy and happy as whatchamacallit, as glam metal would be, but it is more of like a hardcore influenced. I'd call it metalcore, more on the hardcore side, with some death metal influences, and taking some liberties with their image.
And some black metal.
Some black metal images
themes.
and themes. And the lyrics are, they're like Mark said, it's a stereotype of what you expect metal to be. Which
yeah.
Mark said that.
that's what I said, Mark.
Grr.
Mark didn't say that.
No, I don't.
Expletive, kill, murder, kill.
Mark said that it
You
was something that it's what somebody that listens to death metal expected it to be, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I said.
Yeah, I said
Except-
it was a stereotype of metal though.
Then no, Mark said it. He just said that he's taking credit for it.
He just said it.
Mark's a
different way.
genius.
No.
Why you gotta take from him?
Yeah, why you gotta take credit from Mark? But
Well, all right.
yeah, see, Mark, this guy, he thinks he's cool. But anyway,
Ooh, visual K.
yeah, visual K, Mark. Like I said, it's glam metal.
Yes.
Oh damn.
Yeah,
That are those
Except-
guys?
yes. If you look up,
Wow.
except that
Everyone look up visual
Podcast is
K.
over.
KEI. No, it pertains to this. Everyone look it up whenever you pause this. Or
anyway,
don't.
anyway.
Anyway.
Now there are some visual K bands that are actually pretty fucking good. Like if you listen to X Japan, if you listen to Sex Machine Guns, or some shit like that. Sex Machine Guns not as much. I think now. I think they used to be a little bit more visual K. Like one's a thrash band and one's just a straight up heavy metal band, and they're pretty good. But this is just metalcore, more influenced by hardcore. And when I was in an elitist mindset when I first came into this. And the only reason that I looked it up was because I was watching an episode of K-On! And what is she, the homeroom teacher or the sponsor?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, the president.
The president.
Yeah, the
there you go.
president.
Is she? Well, let's say that's what she is. Like
Yes.
it's revealed that she used to be in a metal band, and I was like, hey, that's pretty generic and cool. I wonder if there's like anything semi-serious about this, and people like recommended Detroit Metal City, and I was like, oh, people seem to like this. Let me look it up, and I looked it up, and I was like, this is fucking garbage. This is fucking trash. The 17-year-old me just couldn't take it. I fucking hated it so much.
You were so angsty.
And I was so angsty and angry, and I was like, this isn't my metal.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it like expecting to be like, oh well, let me check out this anime and hope that it has some really good music in it, I would be like, what the fuck this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, but really, it's kind of dumb to like come in with expectations like that. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch this anime because I heard it presents metal faithfully.
I mean,
wouldn't
there's
expect
some
Well,
there's some
that's
shows
why
that have really
I
good
started
music.
watching it. And especially
Well, I mean, back
after,
then, yes.
and especially after watching it was a little bit after I watched Beck, and I was like, man, Mongolian Chop Squad's pretty alright. There has to be another anime that's like this. And like I said, everybody kept recommending Detroit Metal City for me, and I was like, okay.
I've actually still yet to see Beck.
You will see that eventually. It's on the list.
I see.
But yeah, after watching that, I just grew to hate this show, and never gave it a chance again until today, or I guess yesterday or a few days ago when we started watching it.
This weekend,
This weekend,
Thursday.
When I got into town.
when Danny came into town.
yeah. And It's better than I expected it to be. It's fairly funny.
Humor was good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
humor
I
was
really
great.
liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And taking away my elitism and hatred of over stereotypicalization, I guess would be the term. It's pretty alright. I can live with it. And I don't remember the first 3 or 4 episodes because of the circumstances that I was watching them in. But I but I remember
Okay, Noni.
but I remember the last few episodes. So you know.
I watched the first 2, 3, or 4.
All right, let me tell you right now, Mark, you're not missing much.
Yeah, I skipped to the last episode. I'm like, oh,
It's
you
more
know,
of the
I didn't have
same.
to watch.
The first few were just like you just meet the character Negi, and it's just explaining that he likes Swedish pop and like all the stuff he likes.
Yeah,
and,
some of the reoccurring themes mostly.
yeah, and then he happens into a gig for becoming Krauser,
Yeah.
and then he sticks with it, and then the whole time like he just really hates it and he doesn't want to do it anymore, but he has a knack for it, and then that's really it. It just sets the groundwork. The first few episodes,
Yeah.
that's all it really does.
See, this guy just likes pretending he hates pretending to be this guy that he's so good at being.
Yeah.
And then as the show progresses, it bleeds through his real life.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much.
Yeah,
And
the character becomes him.
there's no real overarching plot. I don't remember if we've mentioned this before because I've stopped and started recording so many times.
Yes.
But
I mean, the plot is basically just the guy's in a band and he doesn't want to be there, and he's trying to get with this girl.
yeah,
With a little bit of rum. Yes.
yeah, the
Yes.
little bit of rom-com that Mark needs to keep his life
To
To
get
going.
through-
sustain me for
To
a
get
little
through
bit.
the-
It's like his cocaine. Like he just needs he just needs that little bump to get him
that
through.
little hit
Yeah.
to get through the day.
Otherwise, it's not worth his time.
And then his inner Krauser comes barreling through and ruins every rom-com moment that happens.
Makes it better though.
So I like the contrast between how he was living like a little frilly, like a little,
Very-
innocent
his-
life,
Yeah, his
and
little
then
cutesy
He
Or
was
life.
he
And
was
then-
such a
the complete
boring
contrast.
Yeah.
He was so like boring and sterile as a person.
Mike, don't
That's
you
a
love
typical
Swedish
Japanese
pop?
person.
No, I love the Sweet Baby song. I wish that
It's very catchy.
Yeah.
Like the way you look at him, it's like he's so like his life is so inconsequential. Like he's just there. He just exists. and like he wants to live this tiny quiet life and get this airheaded girl and like make a break in the Swedish pop scene filled with like a bunch of like arrogant pieces of shit.
yeah. Like
And
that one episode where he was on a not date with his lady friend and they
Yeah.
went to that fashionable place with that fashion guy so they could meet up fashion.
yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, you want to play that song of yours on my stage?" And he was like, "Oh boy, yes I do. I can finally play the type of music that I want to play." And then he started playing it, and I was like, "This is pretty catchy." Like I hate the lyrics because they're so like bubbly and
boring.
poppy and like frilly and shit. But I was
Feel
like, I
good.
like this. And then the guy, apparently the fashion guy, didn't like it either because he was like, if you're gonna play around, play outside, not on my stage. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? Why didn't he like?
Sick bird.
So how did you guys get introduced to this?
Yeah.
Because you can't. I mean,
You.
Well,
Jose
other
and
than this.
Manny.
Jose and Manny told me, they were like, you need to watch this, and it was years ago, and I was like, I don't really know, and they're like, nah, dude, just do it. And they made a reference to DMC, or not really a reference. It was just like I had seen, what was it called again? Penny and Stocking. I'm sorry. There's a scene where it's like one of the songs where they go to Detroit Metal City or whatever. And like when I was watching that, like Jose and Manny had made an offhanded comment about Detroit Metal City, the actual anime, and I was like, oh, that's an actual thing. And so yeah, I was like, okay, let me give it a go. And I watched like the first I think up to like episode 8, and then something happened, shit happened, and I ended up forgetting about the anime, and I never finished it. But I loved it up until then, and I just never finished it until today.
Yeah.
Sugoi!
A lot.
Sugoi desu!
Yeah, they had told me actually to watch it too a while back, and I was just like, oh, okay, well that sounds interesting. And they kept saying that it had metal music and metal music in it, and I'm like, all right. And like you, I expected it to have like some decent metal music, and then like the intro started, and I was like, this is all it's gonna do, isn't it?
That's
And
all
then
it's
it was
gonna
all
do.
it did.
I mean, to be fair,
Yeah.
compared to a lot of bands like currently, it's better than better or equal to about 60 to 70% of the stuff that's out there, in my opinion.
True.
Because just sifting through shit, if it doesn't have degent or breakdowns, it's
Oh,
just
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like I could actually like if I listened to this, I wouldn't be like turn that shit off. I'd be just like, oh,
you'd just
all
be
right,
like,
it's
yeah,
there.
it's all right.
Yeah,
It's not the best, but it's there.
it's definitely not the worst.
No. I mean, there were some people that were, for some reason, they were doing a comparison between this and Death Clock, and they were like, "Yeah, it's a Japanese Death Clock." I was like,
You see, I had heard that comparison as well, but you can't really
No.
compare the two.
No.
No.
Because, like, if
It's very
anything,
different.
DMC is like, I wouldn't say, well, yeah, it's more tame, but I would feel like DMC would be making fun of Death Clock
Death
more
Clock,
than
yeah.
anything. It would be like a parody of it.
and I can't
Parody of a parody.
a parody of a parody.
A parody of a parody.
My God.
I feel like the humor, like how things just like fly out of control sometimes.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I find similar. But even that, like with fucking Death Clock, it's like fucking people are dying and shit.
Yeah,
you
people
know?
are dying left and right. And in this one, it's just
It's,
like
they're
people
just joking.
People are getting
Getting
spanked every once in a while.
Yeah, they're just joking. There's a bit of light masochism, but nothing
Yeah,
nothing
pretty
crazy.
damn light masochism.
light sadomasochism. It's not very bad.
Nah,
It also makes for great gags.
some pretty decent gags,
The
and
gags were great.
it's always entertaining to see like how the main character ends up like somehow putting himself over in a way in the eyes of the audience by doing something that he didn't intend to do.
Yeah.
Like during
It's like oh, I'm sorry. Go.
I was just gonna say, like during one of the concerts when a punk band invaded their show and he got kicked and passed out on top of their guitarist or their bassist or something. Like he
Yeah.
just, when he was standing up, they were like, "Oh my God, look, he's raping her!" And I was like, "Ah, of
He
course,
can do no wrong.
He can do no wrong in their eyes." He
That's how it is.
he made love to the Tokyo Tower, and they said that the Tokyo Tower was enjoying it, and the Tokyo Tower got wet.
Because
It
the
had an
storm
orgasm
happened. Yes.
while he was fucking the Tokyo Tower. It was the best. It was the stupidest shit.
He can literally do no wrong in the eyes of his followers.
Oh, jeez.
I think the only
Uh,
time that things got really out of hand was when his followers started beating the shit out of that
The
rapper's,
hip hop guys.
Yeah, like he had this one dude that like he kind of vaguely looked like Nathan Explosion.
Oh yeah, dude.
He was going around like looking for fans of this rapper that was talking shit about Krauser and just like beating the shit out of them. And then like they corner the dude's gang corners this guy and they're like, "Oh, we found him. Let's go beat the shit out of him." And when they get there, he's already like disposed of like everyone that came after him.
And
Yeah.
whenever they introduced that hip hop character, I thought that there was gonna be some kind of like backstage, like, oh, because it's shown that this hip hop guy is actually what's his
His childhood
yeah, but what's the main character's name? This the boring
friend. Negi?
Negishi.
Maybe.
Negishi.
Negishi? Yeah, it's Negishi.
Yeah,
but
it was introduced that this hip hop guy was Negishi's childhood friends, and they were all buddy, and I was like, oh, cool. There's gonna be like some kind of thing that they're gonna do, and they're gonna be like, yeah, we're friends. We're gonna stop fighting, and no, no, they don't.
Yeah.
The-
Like everyone in his past he gets destroyed.
Yeah, dude, he
He just
fucks
destroyed
them
Yeah,
all.
he fucks them over in one way or another,
And
but they don't know it's him. So
they don't know it's him, so it's okay.
it's okay.
Much like real life.
Yes, as long as they don't know it's you, you're free to do anything.
Yeah, you can do
Remember
no
that,
wrong.
kids. Like, yeah. So when he was to explain further on him with his childhood friend, so he notices this guy at first. He's just like eating at a diner, and he's like, "Oh, it's you, my friend." And he has flashbacks to it, and they were like really good friends. And the guy used to get picked on, and like he hears like these other like the guy's posse show up, and they're talking to him, and then he realizes that the dude that's been talking shit about him, the rapper, is actually his childhood friend. And so he tries to talk him out of it, and he asks him why he's changed and stuff. And he's like, "Oh, well, I had to throw all that away in order to search for fame and stuff." And so that was literally the only like little connection they had with each other. I thought the same thing, that they were gonna like meet backstage, or they were gonna like talk it out before the thing and be like, "Hey, let's not fucking do something because we're in the same circumstances." But no, like the dude starts rapping, and Negi over time becomes a very arrogant asshole while he's wearing the Krauser suit and even without. And so he's hearing this guy rap, and like the only thing in his head is like, man, he's fucking awful at this.
Yeah.
And so then he starts rapping, and he does it better than him, which isn't saying much to begin with.
At the beginning, he did it better than him, and then he just fucking started screaming obscenities because,
Because that's what the crowd
That's what the
wanted. And
people
so
want.
everyone was like, what's going on? And the lyrics he was using in his rap were like, he was making fun of directly this guy, like of all the shit he knew in the past or whatever. And he's just like, how the fuck does he know all this about me?
he was busting an Eminem in 8 Mile.
He was. And like the
real
best
name?
part is that this guy, he thinks about it for a second. He's like, man, there's only one person that can know all this about me. And he's like, it's Negishi. And he's like, this has to be Negishi. And I was like, all right, cool. They're going to hit it off. It'll all be fine. And he's like, but if he's Negishi, he'll understand, my circumstances. And so in one of the flashbacks, the fat kid, he moves away. And so that's why Negi hadn't kept in contact with him. Well, as he was leaving, all the kids gave him a t-shirt so that he would remember their school and stuff like that. Well, the dude rips off his shirt, and then he's still wearing the school shirt. And it's like super small and tight on him
So
because
fucking tiny.
because it's a child's shirt. And so he's like, I will never forget my past and stuff. And in his head, he's like, surely Negishi will understand. And he's just like, and this will all end, and we'll just let bygones be bygones. And that's how you would have figured it would end. But at this point, Negishi has snapped, and he's become Krauser full time. And he's like, nah, fuck that. And so he reaches out, he grabs the dude's fucking shirt, and then tears it. He just rips it straight down. He's like, what the fuck is this shit? And the guy's looking at him like, what the fuck? And he kicks him right off the stage. And he's like, this can't be Negishi. I was wrong. And then that was he just starts like, he bends him over, and he starts whipping the shit out of him. It was just
He deserves it.
he deserved
Obviously.
it, but it's just like, I mean, it's just funny seeing like this guy slowly change into the persona that he's been acting as.
Into what he knows he always should have been.
Yeah, because it's like, you could tell this is more of like his repressed feelings like flaring up from being so sterile and reserved and calm. And like, so yeah, like, I mean, when you look at the dude's history, he's boring. He lived on a farm. He tended to animals, and that's helped him a few times in the show. He tended to animals. He was the boring older brother, and then he moves out. He's still fucking boring, and then he has this character that's essentially like an escape, and it just keeps bleeding more and more through his like regular life. And then at some points he can't control himself, and he goes full-time Krause.
He's relatable.
He's really relatable. Sure.
He's relatable.
Mark
he
also
is.
sometimes goes full-time Krauser.
He does.
all day.
He put
All day, every day.
The second he puts on that wig, he's just like rave.
He's like, nobody
I'm
knew
gonna
who I
fuck
was
something.
until I put on the mask.
And another thing that I want to bring up that I don't think any of us saw, but I feel like I would be very interested in seeing, is the live action movie for this.
I had wanted to get around to watching it, but
I was
never-
hoping I could actually watch it before
There
we started
is one
this.
already. You mean?
Yeah, there is
Yeah,
one.
it's been
the
around
fuck?
forever.
It came out in 2008, I think.
Yeah, it's been around for a good long time.
2008 or 2010, one of those things.
I don't think you mentioned it yet, but this whole thing was based on the manga.
Yeah,
Oh, I was about
it was
to say,
based on a
like,
manga
what's the
from
source
that was
material?
published from 2005 to 2010. But you know, they didn't get the actual ending. But considering this is mostly a episodic or not consistent kind of thing, I don't think you really need to know what actually happens at the end.
Well, I mean, the ending of the anime just leaves it like where it is. He's still in the band. Nothing really changes.
Yeah, so if you want to see what happens to this poor Negishi boy slowly transforming into this monster that he is, read the manga. It finished in 2010.
It's a good example of what happens when you do nothing but repress your emotions. And,
Relatable.
they slowly begin to leak out, and
then you want to rape
and
then
you want to rape people, or you go to a girl's birthday and you start calling her a bitch.
Start telling her that she has a clitoris for a face and you want to fuck it.
Yeah.
But after seeing the trailer for it, seeing some live action music videos for it, and seeing the costume designs and everything, I feel like this would actually work a little bit better as a movie than it would a series.
Yeah, I feel like it would do better. I mean, it could only be improved.
It could only be improved.
Having live action actors like actually putting on the makeup and dressing up.
Yeah,
but go on.
I was just gonna say they have all the essential characters. Like they have the metal lord at the end. They have the hip hop guy. They have the punk girl. They have the main band. They have the manager, which I feel like we should bring up later because she's just her cunt loves being wet and soaked.
Which is usually by the shenanigans of DMC that causes
her cunt soaking. Yes.
Yes.
So what were you saying? Juan?
So obscene.
No, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, it would if the live action would really bring out some of the comedy and the characters out of it. But I really liked how crude the animation was.
Yeah,
It added to the comedy.
Yeah, I said that myself.
Yeah,
I felt
you
like the
did.
shittiness added to the it was charming. I enjoyed how the character models would just like slide off screen or just like things look pretty cheap. Like I felt like it added to the thing.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
On that note, the drummer, when I first kind of like saw him and like the animations that he was doing, fucking had me laughing my ass off. Just
dude.
how stupid it looked. And he was just
Yeah.
like beating the shit out of it. And then there was that one part towards the end where he grabbed the snakes and he started
And he
those
started
as
using
drums.
those.
And then
He took the dude's snakes and he just kept them with him.
Dude.
And even when he's out of costume, he still has the snakes wrapped around him. And he's just like, all right.
So
I think my favorite scene with him was
During the interview?
not even
Oh.
during the interview,
when
where the
place was
building is on fire.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and the fire department comes into the building. It's like charred and shit, and he's still playing. Like he never stopped.
he never
during the
stops
whole
playing the
thing.
drums.
Fucking hero, man.
The building was on fire, and he stayed there.
And this man is not a main character. He's just a side character, but he's pretty cool. Like the bassist
He
has
shows
no.
up very.
I feel like the bassist is very forgettable.
The bassist is very
yeah.
forgettable.
The only people that I
the-
actually remember is just the manager, the drummer, the fascist pig,
Capitalist
pig.
pig.
There you go, capitalist pig.
He even gets his own like little story.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
was,
gets his
uh,
own little
the
episode.
capitalist hero episode.
Who, if you haven't seen the anime, is a guy that goes up in a bra and some like fishnet leggings and panties with a choker in his mouth, and he just gets spanked on stage like you would.
Gets
at a-
abused.
if you've ever seen a black metal show, you've seen this. It's nothing new. If you've ever watched any Gorgoroth or whatever, it's nothing new to you. But anyway, and then so the manager, the capitalist pig, the main character, the drummer, and the Love Girl. There, I feel like those are the only characters that I can come away remembering, and everybody
Yeah.
else.
Grandpa.
Honestly, the grandpa didn't leave too much of an impression on
I
me.
I forgot the grandpa existed.
Oh man.
He didn't leave very much of an impression.
Only because he came out in
I
2
mean-
episodes.
Well,
Yeah.
his brother was like a one-off character.
I remember
I
the
mean,
brother
a lot of
a
characters
lot more.
Exactly.
I'll never forget the Sentai team though. That was
Oh my
badass,
god,
dude.
yeah, dude.
Like that will always be my favorite episode.
Yeah.
Like that was hands down the best fucking like one of the best scenes in the show, dude. It was
No,
My
I-
favorite was the Emperor.
the
And
Emperor.
Yeah. What's his name? Jack Dark III.
Oh, the fucking,
yeah.
fucking hybrid Danzig Gal and like this hybrid metal guy that they brought in.
Yeah.
'Cause,
They
like,
kept saying he was metal. I was like, dude, this sounds nothing like fucking. It sounds like he was just playing like rock.
I just
so
like this
metal.
English. It's English
The
voice.
fucking translator, dude.
Yeah,
had a
like he had a translator in the background, but he
yeah.
pulled by the dude's own voice, so you could barely hear the translator.
and
I
even
think
when
that
he
was just
speaking
on purpose
Japanese,
to
he
add
still had
comedic
the
effect.
translator.
Yeah.
I felt like it was just there to add comedic effect because you could barely make out what the dude was saying.
Yeah.
He was translating perfectly though.
He was
according to the
speaking
subs.
perfect English. I was like, damn, what the fuck? And yeah, that's where the drummer got the snakes from because this dude had 2 snakes wrapped around his head like the whole time.
I guess the
And-
Cobras.
2 cobras, yeah. Yeah, and what happens is he's like doing a farewell tour because he's done with the metal with music and stuff.
and he's
and
known
he's
as
going
the
to
king of
Japan.
metal or the god.
He's known as
or
the
whatever.
the king of
The
metal
emperor.
and the emperor of metal, and he's doing his farewell tour and he's going to Japan because he wants to crush the top metal band in Japan, and at that moment it was DMC. And so he's hanging out in his little makeup room or whatever. And Negi, he's like, oh, well, I'm going to go talk to him. I'm sure he's just like me. You know, he's probably just like pretending.
Yeah, he's just pretending to be this
Yeah,
obscure
he's just
man.
pretending to be obscure, edgy, and what's the name? What's that word? Eccentric.
Yeah.
And so Negi goes in there and he has this plan to give him some shiitake mushrooms. And he walks into the room and it's like there's a light bulb and it's red, and so it's just dimly lit. And the dude's got like 2, I'm assuming, hookers like around him. I couldn't tell, was he sitting in a throne or was he sitting in like something?
I don't know if it was a chair, but he was getting blown by one of the hookers.
Yeah,
He was getting blown by
And he
one
was
of the girls.
pouring wine onto the floor instead of on a cup for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. And he had his little translator dude. It was like some Japanese businessman standing right next to him while this was all happening.
with
And
the
so-
cobras wrapped around his neck.
Yeah, he had 2 cobras wrapped around. He was just completely calm. And the dude, he's just like, oh fuck, you know, all the rumors and the shit they say about him is actually true. And he gets worried, but he's just like, oh, well, I came here to bring you
Shiitake
some
mushrooms.
shiitake. And like he gives him, and the guy's like, what the fuck is this? And the snakes just immediately grab at the bag and they start devouring the shiitake. And the dude's like, oh, I just came here on behalf of DMC because we wanted to say, good luck and stuff. And the dude gets up and he's like, DMC. And he starts saying that he's like, I'm going to fucking destroy those guys. And like he grabs onto Negi and then he starts like tugging down on his pants. And he's like basically saying that he's going to fuck
He's
him in
gonna-
the ass. And the guy, and like the translator here
He's
is
just
he's
translating
taking
everything.
He takes everything the guy says and he makes it worse.
So much.
And like Negi, the dude's telling him, I forgot what to Negi exactly, but he's just like, he says that if you loosen up, it should actually be pleasurable. And he's freaking out. And then the guy's just like, nah, I'm just kidding. I don't fucking do guys.
I don't actually fuck guys.
Yeah, and so he just leaves him, and like Negi leaves, and he just starts like he gets into that mindset again, where he's just like, I
dude,
came here
fuck
with a
this
peace
guy.
offering. I came here with a peace offering of shiitake. I thought
Of
we could
shiitake.
talk it out. And then he's like, you know what? Fuck this guy. And then Krauser starts coming out. And so he goes on stage, and the lady, the manager had only wanted them to like pay tribute to the guy. But he's like, no, we're going to fucking destroy him. And she's just like, well, this should be interesting.
And they had planned for them to get lowered down by some cables that they were going to be suspended with.
I remember that part.
Oh,
And and Krauser fucks up, and when they get lowered down, it looks like he wrapped
being
his
hung?
yeah he's being hung. He wrapped the cable around his neck like he was trying to kill himself. And
And then
everybody
everyone
was
just
like,
assumed that
"Oh
he
my
did
god,
die
he's
and
so
he came
fucking
back from
amazing!"
hell.
how did like the Emperor enter the stage or something?
He was already there playing when they got there.
Okay, I thought because like they're trying to just show him up with the entrance.
No, they
Well,
didn't
that
know.
wasn't the plan, but that's what they ended
there
up
was-
doing.
Yeah, so yeah, Krauser gets lowered while hanging himself, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" They're like,
This
"He's
guy's
so
so fucking metal."
hardcore." Yeah, they say he was fucking self-induced suicide or whatever, and so yeah, they lower him. He gets out. He's like fucking coughing and shit, and he's just like, "Well, that worked, I guess."
He died and he
And
came back to life.
yeah, basically. And so he enters on stage, and like the dude, one of his like saying is that he believes the word "fuck" is universal. And so the dude just starts. I guess he had a song that was just called "fuck," and so he's just saying it like in rapid succession. And so the guy's like, "Well, I'm gonna go show him up," and so he starts playing his guitar and saying "fuck" at the same time. And so they're trying to like see who can say "fuck" the most. And yeah, they have this competition, and eventually they start running out of breath. And they're both looking at each other with like sweat running down their faces, and they're like, "I'm not gonna be the one that fucks up. I'm not gonna do it." And Jack, or what was his name again?
Was it Jack Dark?
Yeah, Jack. He fucks up and he starts coughing because he's out of breath, and then everyone just starts cheering for Krauser, and they're like, "He beat him at his own game."
He beat him by half a
Beat him
fuck.
by half a fuck.
Yeah, they're like, "He beat him by half a fuck." And, yeah, and so they start playing, songs and shit, and like the entire time, the crowd is just like thinking in his head, like, "Fuck this guy." He's like, "Fuck this guy, fuck this guy." He's like, "I fucking hate him," and yeah, that in turn becomes rage. And how does the guy fuck up again?
Jack,
guy?
right?
Yes, Jack. How does it lead into?
Doesn't he get bit by one of his snakes?
Oh yeah, he gets bit by his own cobra.
No, but everyone was cheering for him during that
Yeah,
point.
Yeah, no. I mean, he just fucked up because he got out of breath when he said "fuck." And
That's right. Yeah, immediately
Yeah.
after running out of breath, Krauser takes that opportunity to really fuck him, and so if I remember right,
the cow.
That's right. So the
Oh,
guy in
yeah.
retaliation, he brings in the I forgot. It's like
Fucking
the
The
bull,
metal
ox.
buffalo or metal ox.
the metal
metal
buffalo.
something.
Yes, and it's literally a buffalo with
Made of
horns that
steel.
are clad in armor, and it's about to like charge at them. He's just like, "Yeah, fucking hit those guys," and like everyone else is like, "Oh shit!" And Krauser, because he was a farm boy, manages to tame this bull immediately, and he's just petting it, and he's like, "They're there."
Yeah, there's 1.2 where it's like zoomed out, and then like he has the cow like on its back, and he's just rubbing its belly.
Yeah. And everyone's freaking out, like, "What the fuck?" And
Dominating.
even Johnny's like, "What's going on? I don't."
Yeah, he's like,
understand."
"Oh my god, they really are from hell."
Yeah, and so at this point, his confidence is completely shot, and Krauser once again uses this opportunity to fuck him, and yeah, he throws the guy, like the three members attack the dude, and the drummer takes his snakes and he wraps them around himself, and then he just keeps them. And then Krauser, like he starts like tossing him around and shit, and then he pretty much strips him, and then he bends him over.
And just starts
And-
fucking him.
He starts like dry humping the dude just to get back at him for what he did earlier. And what happens is the bassist forms a D, and then the arch in which he's fucking the dude is
Makes
an
an
M.
M.
And then the drummer with his snakes form a C, and so they're just like DMC, and everyone's fucking going crazy.
Like, oh.
Yeah, and then that's like it skips to just them in the dressing room, and they're just hanging out, and he's like, "I can't believe I fucking did that." And yeah, so everybody's hailing him as like, they're like, "You fucking beat him."
The new emperor.
The new
He's,
emperor.
well, they don't call him the new emperor until Johnny, Jack, whatever, comes into the room. And this dude, he's like freaking out. He's like, "Oh, fuck, he's going to beat the shit out of me." And the guy walks in and he hands him the guitar and he's like, "This is yours now." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's just like, "Oh, well, even I have to admit, you fucked me good."
Hey.
And yeah, and so he's just like, "Oh, so it was you in the room." And then he's just like, "Oh, that makes sense why you were fucking dry humping me now." And yeah, so he hands it to him, and he's like, "You know what? I will take some of those shiitake." And he's like, "Well, I just so happen to have spare because the MC's fucking." He's something else.
Yeah,
Which he
he's
was later arrested for smuggling them back into.
Yes,
the
it shows like a little afterwards thing, and the dude got arrested at the airport on his way back to America for trying to smuggle shiitake. So he got the guy arrested, and yeah, that was the end of that. And then everyone's hailing him as the new emperor of metal.
Quote unquote.
Yes, the third emperor, and he's like trying to give the guitar away. He's like, "Somebody please fucking take this."
Because he
And-
got like his blood all over it, right?
No, it's like a rumor. They said it was like
Possessed by a demon.
they said it was possessed by a demon, and that like the guitars, like actual like the wood parts, was made out of coagulated blood.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then the guy he hands the main character the guitar, and he's like, "All right, now I need you to coat the guitar in my own blood to complete the ritual." And he's like, "No, I'm not gonna do that."
And then he takes it and goes play some Swedish pop
He goes to
music.
play
He
some
goes to a park and tries to play Swedish pop metal with his fucking
guitar.
crazy guitar.
Swedish pop metal.
And everybody tells him he
Swedish pop
sucks.
metal. Nobody likes his Swedish music. His Swedish pop
Except for
music.
Nuni. Nuni thinks it's okay.
Nuni thinks it's okay.
And
but,
the airhead girl.
Nuni, just known for their shit taste. So.
Yeah, but that's fine. Because your taste is shit. So yeah, how do you like that?
But yeah, so that was pretty much the end. And it just leaves it at that because the episode prior he was gonna quit and then he just comes back and like that's it. Like he never
Oh my
leaves.
God.
Oh
that.
yeah, the Jamaican.
Placement.
Okay, so yeah, he's about to quit. That's the
main
main
gist of the
theme
story.
about that episode prior to this last one. And I'm only mentioning it because it had one of the most ridiculous characters I've ever fucking seen. And so he's like, "I'm quitting," and they're like, "You
Jamaican man
can't
that
quit."
plays baseball.
And he's like, "Nah, I gotta fucking leave." And so what is she
President.
again? The president is just like, "All right, well, I guess I gotta call in the spare Krauser." And they're like, "You have a spare Krauser?" And she's like, "Well, I never wanted to use him. It's some foreigner that owes me a favor." And so they pan to this fucking Jamaican dude who has like a heavy accent, speaks
And he
broken Japanese.
he has a beatbox.
He has a boombox
boombox
with him
yeah.
that he carries everywhere with him.
Yeah, it's like,
And he's like, "Hey, ma." And
And he's
yeah,
super
he's gonna
tan.
be the replace. He's super tan, and he becomes the replacement.
yeah. There's not really much more to say about this anime. We could go episode by episode and mention every single little thing that happened, but
We're good.
But I mean, there's-
it's more of the same.
Didn't you already?
No.
I mean, more or less.
Just the
They were-
favorite.
they
I
were
mean,
really
it
short.
follows a formula. So I mean, yeah, it's
They were
just like.
short, and
Yeah. It's
Like
I
the
like the
show's pretty
comedy,
much just
though.
like, here we set some expectations for you. Here we shattered them completely, and that's pretty much every episode.
What about the president?
The president is she's very obscene.
She's vulgar as
I'd
fuck,
fuck-
dude.
Yeah, like
By
she's-
Japanese standards, at least.
Like I don't
By
know if there was a
Japanese- by
translation
American
change.
By
Or if she
any
just-
standards, like everybody in
She's
that
very
concert
obscene.
is vulgar as fuck, and
Yeah.
they don't deserve to be people.
They don't, but they're there,
But
and
they're
it
there,
makes
like-
it all the better.
And then fucking Krauser Tan, you know,
Oh,
the,
yeah,
the,
the
cute,
little
the
Krauser
cute
Tan,
little
bro.
girl,
Krauser Tan, oh my god.
the cute little girl that was singing the lyrics to their songs while her daddy was in the restroom next to her mommy. and,
Everybody was cheering her on.
everybody-
like, this is the
everybody
cutest
loved
thing
her.
ever.
and then when her daddy came back,
Oh,
she turned around and she was like, "Daddy," and she jumped, and everybody was like, "What's gonna happen?" And it looked like she was raping her dad while she was humping him in the air, or jumping into the
And they
air.
were like, "She's reverse raping him."
Oh god!
They're so his followers are so
They're
stupid,
so
but you
fucking.
can't help but feel endeared to them.
No, fuck
I
them.
mean,
They're fucking stupid.
Noonie, come on. Would you not want an
No.
army of people following your beck
No.
and call that have no
No.
smarts?
No.
Okay, I don't know about you, Noonie, but I'd fucking love it if I had the Red Ranger coming in to defend me from crowds of people trying
Now
to
you
attack
see.
me.
Now you see that's different.
And going to your show in full costume.
And
full
going to your
costume.
show in full costume, dude.
No,
That was
that's
the
different.
best.
That's the exception that proves the point.
And it was great because he was announcing everything he did with the microphone in his outfit. And it was great because the other Sentai members, they came to stop him and they're like, "What are you doing?" And he just
Beating
fucking
the
punches
shit
them.
out of him.
Yeah, he did.
He's like, "Don't you dare touch Kasa-sama." That was fucking great, and I would kill to have that experience. Man.
So how was it like watching it for a second time? I guess for you and
I hadn't
Nana-chan?
remembered too much of it, so it was good rewatching it because I mean the humor is still there. Like I didn't feel like it gotten old or that I had outgrown it. I still laughed at like a bunch of the shit in it. So yeah, it held.
So, what'd you guys rate this?
3.5.
Out of 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, about a 3.5.
I'll give it
Give it a 4. Just
I'll
based on
give
the
it-
humor.
3.5 rapes out of 5.
Mm.
Well, let's not make rape a joke.
But you already did.
You already
Um,
did.
Dang.
This entire show makes light of it. There's no
Yeah.
way around it.
There's
There's
way.
no
to
way
do it.
around it.
I mean, let's consider the Eiffel Tower's feelings.
Tokyo Tower.
Tokyo Towers.
Yeah,
That's
whatever.
Tokyo Tower. Mother.
But
The
yeah.
Eiffel Tower.
I actually said that when I told Nune about a scene because I thought it already passed, and I was like, "There's a scene where they go to the Eiffel Tower." I was like, "Have you seen that yet?" He's like, "Eiffel Tower." I was like, "Tokyo Tower, some shit," and it was Tokyo Tower. But yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
There's very
I'll
few
give
anime
it-
that
I'll
I'll
give it
laugh
like
out
a-
loud.
like a
that.
3.8.
Damn.
Mark's
I
giving
like
it
I like
3.8.
like the
Not enough
fast
romance for
comedy.
Mark.
Yeah, the comedy was good. It didn't
That
take a long
slight
time to have the
ADD.
build up, and everything was off the walls, and it's like it wasn't. Yeah, ADD. That's a good way to explain it.
I like shit like that.
Yeah, it's nice.
I'd give it a 3 capitalist pigs out of 5.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, so Noonie, what else would you like to discuss today?
Your face.
All right, the Power Rangers movie, huh?
Yeah, we already talked
Yeah,
about
let's turn this into a Power Rangers.
Warning, the Power Ranger spoiler cast begins now.
Okay, well, you see, the Power Rangers movie. I didn't like the designs whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
No, not really.
They
The only
were
thing
garbage.
that I enjoyed was Alpha, only because I was like, if I pretend that this isn't Alpha, I'll really like it. And I really liked it because I pretended it wasn't Alpha.
I just didn't like it. Like I hated Alpha's design. It's like he had 2 fucking light bulb thingies in the front, and it was just...
He looked like a disgusting fish mechanical caca. It was good. Yeah, it looked
Mechanical
great.
caca.
Yeah.
I'm really curious. Did Alpha do the ay?
Not in the way that you want to, but yes.
No, he says it very like he's just like yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Come
Very
on.
subtly.
No, they make a lot more references than you would
They
expect.
made a lot of references towards the original Power Rangers.
There was
but-
even a "Make My Monster Grow" reference.
Dude, she did it, and I was like, yes. Like,
And-
there was a lot of references towards the original series, and they did it in a way that wasn't like, where they got to turn their heads to the screen and be like, do you get that one, guys? Like, they just did it instead of anything. Like, I love that they did that. They never bothered to stop everything just so that you can sit there and be like, dude, that's a reference.
And there's no question.
Like, way more.
Whatever Danny
what,
said. Yeah, whatever Danny said.
Alpha, he said Alpha looked really alien.
He did. But
He did?
He really did. But if you come out of that movie questioning who paid the most amount of money to be in that movie, or I guess paid the most amount of money to make that movie, then you're an idiot because fucking Krispy Kreme.
Because Krispy Kreme
Because
probably
Krispy
paid
Kreme.
out the ass for that movie.
Dude, fucking Krispy.
So
At,
much
like,
advertising.
much like I said on
It
my
was
on my
it was a
Twitter
center
Twitter.
point of the story.
It
What?
was the location of the most valuable thing in the story.
Oh my god.
Dude,
It was literally at a Krispy Kreme.
it's advertising with attitude, I'm telling you. Fuck the teens.
And then there's even a scene to where they're fighting Goldar outside, and Rita's just inside the Krispy Kreme
dude,
eating
she's
donuts.
just inside enjoying
What
a
the fuck?
She's
donut.
just eating. She's
Like,
just sitting on a
it's like-
table eating donuts. She's
It's
like
a commercial. Yes. It's full
It was
cost.
a big fucking commercial.
We should have.
And what was great is when she like forces the information out of Billy, and she's just
Oh,
like,
I
"Tell
spent
me."
the
He's like,
last 8
"A
hours at
Krispy
school."
Kreme," and she's like, "What is this Krispy Kreme? Is it a special place?" And he's like, "Yes."
Yes.
She's like, "Yes, it must be special. It must be special because it holds the thing." And I was like, "God damn, dude."
A character that I thought that I was gonna fucking hate right off the bat after Mike had told me that they
Yeah.
revealed in an article that he was gonna be autistic. I
I thought I would
thought
hate
I was
Billy
gonna hate
too.
Billy because I thought it was gonna be one of those things where they shove his autism down your throat.
And they really
And
don't.
they really
like
don't.
he just explains it at the beginning. He's like, "Hey, Jason, my brain don't work the same." And he's just like going on a rant. And Jason's like, "Just stop fucking talking,
just
Billy.
shut
Please.
up and
Just-
quit
I don't
being
need
a
to hear.
fucking
I don't need to
autist."
hear all of this, Billy."
Listen, I
And,
get it. I live in the time that we live now. I don't need to know this. I already get it. And then
Yeah.
the rest of the movie is like, we get it.
Yeah, like, cause he keeps trying to like tell everybody, "Sorry, I'm fucking weird," but they're just like, "Shut the fuck up, Billy," and that's it.
Nobody
Like,
likes you anyway.
no, you see, that's the thing.
He's
Everybody's.
favorite or second favorite character.
He's my favorite, and my second is Zach, the Black Ranger.
Zach is pretty
Zach was fucking great. Zach was literally Johnny Young Bosch.
He's Johnny Young Bosch version 2.
Yeah,
he is
he
an
looks
Asian Black
similar
Power
to him.
Ranger. If the only thing that they're missing is the frog fucking Megazord.
The frog, like he looks similar. He has the same speech pattern as far as like Zach did and stuff. So like it worked really well. The weird thing was when they decided, "Oh, we need to have a lesbian."
What?
I mean, implied lesbian, I guess.
Implied lesbian, yeah, but
Yellow?
still, yeah, yellow. It was just why did you have? I mean, I understand Power Rangers inclusion, shit like that. It felt like unnatural
Were
to
any
just
of the
throw it in
men
there.
gay?
Because like, yeah, no, Jason's all over that Kimberly
Dude,
until Tommy
until
comes
Tommy
out.
comes
Until
around.
Tommy comes around. He's
He came after the credits for a sequel.
actually,
Yeah.
well, you see, there is hints for a sequel, but the thing is, the dudes that produced this had already stated that if they do well enough, they already have plans for up to 5 movies.
Holy
Okay.
shit.
At the end of this movie, because honestly, throughout the movie, and you can ask Noonie because I kept bugging him about it, I kept wanting the
He
Dragon
wanted
Zord,
the Dragon
or the
Zord for
fucking
no
flute,
fucking reason.
or the
It
flute
wouldn't
to
even make
start
sense
playing,
if it happened.
and it didn't happen. And I knew it wasn't, but I kept hoping in my heart that I
He
would
wanted
be
it so
surprised.
bad. It wouldn't make any sense at all whenever it would happen, but he was so adamant about it happening. He wanted it so
wanted
fucking
to
bad.
happen, and it didn't. And then at the end of the movie, all of the Rangers, they're all friends now. They're sitting in detention, and the dude's just calling out names, and then he's like Tommy Oliver, and then it zooms in on a seat, and it's got like
A green
Tommy's
jacket.
green jacket, a bunch of green shit, and
Ah.
an empty desk, and then like there's it
It's
just
echoing through the halls.
through the hallway, and he's asking where the fuck Tommy is. And so, yeah, if there's another movie,
It's
we're
gonna
probably
have
going to be
the
seeing
Green
Tommy.
Ranger,
That's a huge teaser right there.
Yeah, the thing is, though, I wonder how they're going to do it as to whether, like, it's going to start off and Tommy's evil, or it's going to start off the second one and he's already going to be a part of their team.
It would be
Yeah.
better if he was evil.
I'd like to see him evil just so that he can beat the shit out of him, because
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite things in Power Rangers, that Tommy shows up, he beats the shit out of them, and then he would leave.
And they play the original theme.
Yes,
Dude, I wanted
kinda.
to hear the dragon flute so badly. And like Rita was the Green Ranger in this one. So I was like, maybe she'll play the flute, but she never played the fucking
No, it
flute.
doesn't make
The
sense.
dagger
It
is
didn't
nowhere
happen
to
in the
be
original.
the dagger is nowhere to be found, and she has her shitty gold staff. And I was like, this is gay. Another thing, it was more of a gripe than anything. Goldar.
Goldar didn't
Goldar.
have his stupid raspy voice that you wanted.
Rangers! He didn't say that. He didn't do anything. He had no face.
He had no face. He couldn't be
He
like,
had no face. He couldn't talk.
you can't stop me
Those
now,
two-
Power Rangers.
The two clowns, what's their name?
The putties?
No,
two
Bulk and
guys
Skull. That's
that-
what he means.
Oh, Bulk and Skull.
Yeah.
Skull may
There
have
might
been
be a
there.
skull. There might have been a skull, but there was no Bulk. So maybe
It
we'll
was-
see Bulk in the next one.
Maybe implied.
Maybe implied to be. I just figured because I was like, well, he's a bully and he was a dick to Billy, and I was like, and the original Bulk and Skull were kind of dicks at the beginning until the tables turned and they were constantly getting picked on.
Yeah.
And then-
So yeah, maybe
Then
we'll
that's
see.
when that's when Mike told me about the earliest JoJo reference known to man.
What?
In the original Power Rangers, there's a scene while they're at the smoothie bar, and Skull is dressed up like Jotaro, and there is no question that this is Jotaro. This is Jotaro, and Bulk is dressed up like old man Joseph because he's in the safari gear and he's got the camera around his neck and everything, and it's just so weird that they were like that. Like I was just like, what?
I
And
need to see this. Can you show me an image?
you look up Power Rangers JoJo reference and it comes up. Because I told Mike I'm not gonna believe this until I see it with my own eyes. And then I
And
saw
then
it
he
with my
saw
own
it.
eyes and I was like, I guess Mike's not wrong.
Yep. Let me try finding this. Oh, here it is, right here.
It's very convenient that they dressed differently for
yeah.
this thing.
There's no way that is not.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
just not. It's not possible.
I'll post a link in the description.
And
All
to anyone
all
who's
of
been
those.
watching, who might have watched the Twitch stream for all the Power Rangers that aired like one after another, there was quite a few of them at the movies that we were watching because I kept hearing shit that people would spam in the Twitch chat, such as like when the putties would come out, they had their their noise where they
Oh, the
so
one
there was people sitting behind us and they were doing it, and then I started doing it, and then Chester started doing it.
that's the one thing that I would hope that they could change is whenever the stupid putties come out, no matter how ridiculous and out of place it is, that they have the
do
little sound.
You see, another thing, the putties in this movie look more like rock golems.
They
than
are rock
putties.
golems, and some of them have 3 legs, some of them have more.
And three
And the
arms
fucking
and shit.
the mastodon isn't a mastodon; it's some kind of 6-legged.
Six-legged
shit.
monster. And they make fun of that too. He's like, I don't know what the fuck this is, and I was like, what else happened? Another nod was when they were fighting, like the first scene they have where they're fully transformed and they fight the putties in order to stop Rita from summoning Goldar. They do the whole like where they're fighting, and every time they make a hit or like throw a kick, they do sound effects. So they were like, yeah, and shit, and it was great. I was like, that's cool. They're just, they're doing it.
Was there ever a scene where they in the background there's an explosion? They go like, oh, and they're all flipping in the air and shit like that.
No.
No. You see,
my
the show missed a few things that I really wanted. The main thing that I wanted, aside from the Dragon Zord or the Dragon Fruit, the roll call. I really, really wanted a roll call at some point, just because I wanted to hear Trini going Sabertooth Tiger. I just wanted it so so badly, and I wanted it, and I wanted to see if they did like an updated transformation, where they're holding the power coin out and stuff, and the lightning's in the background. I wanted anything like that, but they didn't do it, and it's like it's fine. I understand because it's a movie, you have time constraints, and you're trying to do all your other shit because they're trying to like move everything along rather quickly.
Yeah, for the most part.
Zordon was an asshole.
Zordon was a fucking douche.
He was a dick, and yeah, he was a dick for like.
But I mean, I guess it
that's
suits the modern day teens with attitude.
Yeah,
Because everybody
and
has attitude now.
He had attitude. They had attitude.
So much fucking attitude.
Zordon used to make meth.
He used to make
Zordon
meth
used to
and-
make meth. He was in fucking Jurassic Park.
But yeah, so what they were trying to bring like subtly implies that like because during one of the flashbacks, it's revealed that Rita she is the Green Ranger. She was part of Zordon's team because Zordon was revealed to be the original Red Ranger. Well, not the original, but the one that was there.
Red Rangers.
Yeah, and so he's like, yeah, she betrayed us and stuff like that, and he just leaves that like one-sided thing to it. But then after they defeat Rita, she's telling them that like their team and their friendship can't last and stuff. And they're like, well, no, even if we can't be certain of the future, we're still going to continue fighting and stuff. And she's telling them that, that whatever. And they're like, we're going to take you to Zordon to be judged. And she flips out. And she's just like, no,
You
I'm
can't
never
judge
going to be
me.
judged. She's like, he of all people cannot judge me. And like she starts talking of like she was like I guess heavily implying that there was more to the problem with Zordon's group than just her suddenly betraying them. Because the way he tried to say it was that like one day she just lost her shit and was like, I want more power. But like I guess like hearing from her, it was some sort of like something was happening. And judging by how Zordon acts, I could see people getting tired of him.
This movie also explains why Rita's base is in the moon.
So
I don't know.
the
I don't know if we should
Megazord.
spoil it or not, but yeah.
No,
Go ahead.
we should leave that.
Yeah.
I'll podcast. I want to hear.
Okay, the Megazord.
Is
I want to
another
explain this.
kind of disappointing thing.
Okay, the Zords, they all have distinct colors and stuff, and you're like, cool, when they fuse, it's going to be just like the original Zord. Well, the way they formed the Zord was kind of neat. It was an accident, pretty much. So they're defending...
I wouldn't really call it neat. I'd call it like what's the thing where it's convenient?
Oh, Deus Ex Machina.
There
But
you
you knew it was going to
I know.
happen.
We
I mean...
everybody in the theater knew. Dude, I whispered to the guy in the back row, and I was like, "Hey, you know what's going on?"
So basically, this is what happens. They're all holding their Zords. They're holding off Goldar from reaching into this crater that he created that has the thing that they're trying to get. And if they pull that out, all Earth dies, basically.
Okay.
And so they're trying to stop him. And so Rita's like, crush them. And so they're all like, let's huddle together, guys. And they're holding their Zords together and they're linking up and yeah, they're all just like just trying to hold together. And so Goldar gets his big ass hands and he starts like compounding them together. And then he pushes them in the hole. And they're all just like, well, goodbye, everybody. And as they enter the hole, the heat coming off of the crystal and from them being so close to the Earth's core, I'm assuming, the Zords begin to mesh together. And all of a sudden, Goldar reaches into the pit to try to take the crystal out, and
Zord pops out.
What greets him is the Zord, and then
And
the
it
Megazord
looks like a
comes
shitty
out.
transformer.
The Megazord was pretty much blue with slight hints of red. It was all blue and gray with slight hints of red, and it was sad because
They could have done so
because
much
the
better.
design was bad and it could have been so much better, but they popped out a transformer.
And they weren't even in a single cockpit. They were all in little like
Dude.
individual pods throughout the chest.
Think
Think disappointment.
Voltron.
Voltron,
Think
yeah,
Voltron. Think
fucking
Voltron
Voltron.
and disappointment. So yeah, they were, and they made a joke about it because like they're like all right, and they look badass because they're standing, and they take their first step to go attack Goldar because everyone's freaking out like what the fuck, and they stumble and they fall over and they're like what the fuck,
Evangelion
And,
reference.
yeah. Pretty much. And then they're like looking at each other and yeah, they're like, Billy, you're a leg. And Zach's like, I'm a leg too. And they're like, I guess we fucked up. And so they're like, yeah, we're supposed to be balancing the legs. So Kimberly picks them up with her pterodactyl and then they start walking and they get the hang of it and they start fighting. And another reference kind of pops up. Jason, without any prior knowledge, especially the fact that this has never been done before, he's like, oh, we have swords on our back. Nobody else knew, and he pulls them out.
No,
and the thing is,
it's 'cause
normally
he's the
you'd
brain,
be like,
you
oh,
don't
there's a plot
understand.
hole or whatever. But it's like, I love that because that's just how the Power Rangers were. They instinctively knew just how to do shit. And I was like, that's good. I fucking love that.
I guess we should just say. I mean, we spoiled everything else. We might as well just
Yeah.
say how she got. She got.
Okay,
No.
so Rita freaking out at this. She's like, I will not be defeated. And so Goldar picks her up in his hand, and then she's like melding into him. At which point I was like, dude, Noonie, it's going to be the Dragon Zord. And so she goes into Goldar, and she does not turn into
She
the
does
Dragon
not turn
Zord.
into the Dragon Zord.
And yeah, so she's just like, she just went into him for safety measures, I'm assuming, and they're like, all right, we're gonna go fight him, and they beat the shit out of her, and Goldar disperses, turns into just a puddle of gold. Yeah, and Rita's left standing there, and then she gives her speech where she's like, yeah, you know, fuck you guys. And so I forget what she says to them exactly.
I forget
but,
exactly how it like escalated into her somehow being in the air when it happened. Also,
Something, yeah. She's standing in the air from something. I'm assuming she like made the gold stand her up higher or something like that. And Jason's just like, yeah, well, fuck off, Rita. And he takes the arm and he bitch slaps her. And yeah, the Megazord bitch slaps her so hard that she flies out of orbit, and she heads straight to the moon, dude. And then I just kept thinking, dude, like of that Family Guy reference where he's just like, one of these days, pow, straight to the moon.
Oh my god.
And so that's how Rita gets her moon base. And as she's about to leave, she does mention that there will be other people after the Zeo Crystal, which I'm assuming implies Lord Zed, and hopefully not Ivan Ooze.
Hopefully, hoping to God, not Ivan Ooze.
Hoping to God,
or
not Ivan
you know
Ooze,
what? Let's see what they do. Let's see what they do with Ivan Ooze.
Let's see what they do with Ivan Ooze. I mean, it's
Like,
Saban again, so maybe they'll take their past failure and fix it.
We'll see what happens.
But then again, Saban did create the Turbo movie, and that was an atrocity.
Billy's gonna be an autistic child now, not just an autistic black guy.
Oh, dude, please no, fuck Justin. But yeah, I didn't expect to like Billy and Zach as much as I did, but I really like Billy and Zach.
Zach's
like,
backstory
really cool.
makes his teen with attitude more, understandable.
Realistic. Understandable, yeah. Because like, there's a part where they're all sitting at a campfire and they're just like, "Well, why are you fucking dark and brooding?"
Why are you
and
dark
like,
and brooding?
"Oh yeah."
And nobody
like,
has
Zach
a good reason except for Zach.
And Zach leads it off.
I mean,
Zach leads it with this depressing story, and then everybody else
just feels like looks like garbage in front of Zach. Because
cool.
like,
just like
their reasons are just like, my parents don't understand me, or my parents
Billy's
don't
was
understand.
like,
I mean, Billy's makes sense because he's autistic.
His dad's dead, and he's
his dad's
autistic.
dead.
Yeah.
And Zach's makes sense. I guess that's why we like them the most, because they're the most understandable, and the rest are just fucking privileged.
Kimberly was your typical high school bitch. Jason was
your typical
like
high school jock.
He was trying to rebel against his dad because he didn't want to like
he didn't want sports.
He didn't want to sports. He didn't want to be a football star.
He's an underachiever.
He's kind of like he was the quarterback. He was like he was like the hometown hero and yeah, everybody loved him, but he didn't want to do that, and he kept acting out because he didn't want part of that, and he hated the town he lived in. But his dad was like pushing him to do this, and so at the beginning of the movie, he does some shit that fucks him over and pretty much takes him out of the season. And everybody in the town hates him, and his dad's like, "You fucked it, son."
Also, everybody in the town somehow knows him, and I thought that was fucking great.
Yeah, everybody knows Jason.
Oh my god, it's Jason Todd.
Yeah, everybody fucking knows Jason Todd, and like they end up like not liking him because he fucked over the whole school team, and you know how small towns are
take
because
high school football very seriously.
Yeah, you know how small towns are. So yeah, that happens, and that was his thing. It's just his dad doesn't understand him. That was his thing. Billy's dad is dead.
Billy's dad is dead.
And his mom is just like, I mean, she does what she can, but it's mostly his autism, and his dad's dead. And he gets bullied in school and shit.
Yeah.
And well, not anymore, but now he can fucking he can
jokes
murder
being
pretty
made,
much all of them. Yes. Kimberly was a bitch in high school, and okay, they don't explain what kind of pictures they were, but she took pictures of her friend, sent them to her boyfriend.
Her friend took pictures of herself.
That's right. And then she
sent them to Kimberly for some reason.
In confidence, I'm assuming. And then Kimberly was like, "Oh, I'll do something with this," and she forwards them to that girl's boyfriend, and she's like, "Is this the kind of girl?"
Not because I don't know who she forwards them to, because I know that Kimberly and her boyfriend got into a fight, and she knocked his teeth out, and they put it back in.
No, it was
drama.
It was that girl's boyfriend.
Yeah,
that,
but
why
would her boyfriend get mad at Kimberly? Why wouldn't she get mad at her? His girlfriend?
Oh, no. It's because she blamed it on him. She blamed it on him, and he got pissed. Because what happens is, whatever these photos were, which I'm assuming was like some shit. Oh, yeah. Like he gets pissed, and like they, that's that. But what happens is they go to school, and they're trying to figure out who the fuck sent the pictures, because the pictures got out to more people after the boyfriend saw them. And Kimberly was like, oh, well, I don't want to get in trouble. It was him. And she blames the boyfriend. And of course, they find the phone. They look at the pictures and like, oh, he's got the pictures. So it was clearly him.
Yes, clearly.
And so they blame him. And he got pissed. And he went to confront Kimberly. And she knocked his teeth out.
But they put it back in, Mike.
But they put it back in. And they tell you that. And so
There-
that was Kimberly's thing.
There are a lot
She
of
feels
stupid fucking
guilt.
jokes that I love.
Yes, there were, and they were great. The story, the movie was campy, and it was good. But yeah, Kimberly was just a bitch, and that was her hang up that she felt so bad about it. The Yellow Ranger, she has a very normal family. She has an overprotective mother.
She's just
her
stupid.
dad and her siblings are fine. They didn't seem anything wrong. The mom is a bit overprotective, but
And
even
she's
then,
a bitch, and it's like she's the Yellow Ranger's introduced as a bitch, and you can see where she gets it from after meeting her
because her
mom.
mom's a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, like her mom's tolerable to a point that you wouldn't expect the daughter to be acting so annoying. Because
Yeah.
she's just like, "Have you made any friends?" And normally you could just
Be like,
no.
You can just
yes,
answer
whatever.
no or yes, but she's just
She just sits there quietly, and then the mom loses her shit. So it's like, I mean,
They're
I
both
knew.
not helping you.
Yeah, I understand to an extent. So it's just communication issues with her and her mom. And then I think it was Billy that was like boyfriend problems. And then she's like, yeah, boyfriend problems. He's like, oh, girlfriend problems. And then she stares at him awkwardly for like 10 seconds. And so you're supposed to be like, oh, she's a lesbian. And so because everyone else, it just pans to everybody else, and they're just looking at her awkwardly. So I was like, oh, the lesbian. Okay, that's the token lesbian. So yeah,
Black Ranger?
but okay, Zach, he like starts off and he's sitting at the camp, and like that's where it begins. They're like, oh, well, what's your story? And he's just like, well, my dad's not here, my mom is sick, she could die at any fucking moment, and I have to do shit to get her medication, and yeah, like I'm so alone.
I'm
And
scared
he's just
that
going.
I'm scared that my mom will die at any second, so I don't want to be at home because as soon as I lose her, I lose everybody, and understandable.
Yeah, and then like when you hear that, you're like, oh, what's up with everybody else? And then you get that, and you're like,
that's
oh.
disappointing.
Yeah. So I mean, Zach and Billy, the most empathetic characters.
Yeah. But let's end on that note. But
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
if you want to follow this podcast in any facet, we're on Stitcher Radio. We're on Google Play, on iTunes, on SoundCloud. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/MBT podcast, twitter.com/Magical Broadcast, or email us at mbtpodcast@gmail.com. We've gone way beyond the time that I was expecting us to go on. Say bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
So much fucking editing.
Okay.